Harvard scientists have discovered a new weight loss solution that's so powerful. The study's chief researcher has gone so far as to claim using it will replace your treadmill forever. What makes this medical breakthrough so incredible is that once you know what it is, you will never step foot in another overcrowded gym, never be forced to follow another restrictive, unfulfilling meal plan or diet, and never need to pop another sketchy over-the-counter weight loss supplement. As long as you live. In fact, and even though it may sound crazy, once you start using this simple and inexpensive weight loss protocol, not only will you be able to eat as much of the sweet, creamy, and rich foods you love, but by doing so you will be guaranteeing that you lose 10, 20, even 28 pounds of pure fat in the next 30 days without a single prescription, medication, or eating a calorie-counting diet. It may all sound ridiculous now, but if you stick with me for the duration of this short and extremely controversial presentation, you will be given all of the scientific research that proves what I'm saying beyond a shadow of a doubt. You'll see how this recent discovery by Harvard scientists can make every extra pound of weight melt from your stomach, starting literally within the next hour, and how once you unlock the power of this startling simple fat loss method, you will burn calories up to 400% faster than you ever could through exercise or dieting. You will dramatically reduce your risk of diabetes, cancer, heart disease, and even stroke. And you will evaporate the age-causing free radicals that have been gathering inside your body for decades, reverse the effects of aging, and both look and feel more energized while you do it. It will work for people of any age and no matter what their body type is or how unhealthy they currently are. To date, 88,616 men and women across the U.S. have already followed the simple steps inside this video to activate the secret fat deleter inside of them. And the results have been nothing short of shocking. People like Lane Brock of Manchester, New Hampshire, who lost 14 pounds in his first 18 days, and Jenny Rich of Denver, Colorado, who's down 22 pounds in just over a month thanks to the secret you're about to discover inside this video. Or Egan Knowles, who lives in Boise, Idaho, who lost 17 pounds after unlocking the secret power of his dark fat cells. Those are just a few of the tens of thousands of photos I get sent every month, and I'll show you exactly how you can join their ranks in just a moment. First, however, let me just take 60 seconds to tell you who I am and why activating your newly discovered dark fat molecules will mean you never again struggle with your weight or even need to go to the gym as long as you live. My name is Paul Sanders. I'm 53 years old and I live in a tiny town outside of Branson, Missouri. Here's a shot of me that my wife took last week. And I'll go ahead and let you compare this to another picture she took of me 2.5 years ago. There's a pretty major difference between those two pictures, huh? And here's the truth. Not only do I look and feel dramatically better than I did even 3 years ago, but by all medical indicators, I actually am fundamentally healthier in every measurable way. My markers from blood pressure to cholesterol, fat index to cellular health are all comparable to a kid in his mid-20s. My risk profile for virtually every single deadly disease you can imagine is considered extremely low. And guess what? I've done all of this while eating McDonald's 5 times a week and not stepping inside a gym in nearly 2 years. Now that's pretty amazing in its own right, but it's especially incredible when you consider that 3 years ago my doctors put a timer over my head and said that the best case scenario I would probably last about 15 months before suffering from a major, potentially life-ending heart attack. And that was on top of me being diagnosed as pre-diabetic. And the fact that my cholesterol levels were around 450, which is more than 300 points higher than what's healthy. Now that was a pretty rude awakening. But until then, I'd never really worried about my weight that much. Sure, I knew I needed to lose some pounds, and that I was probably unhealthy, but I also kind of thought of myself as just a big guy. I mean, people actually called me Big Paul. It was part of my identity, and I sort of lived in denial about how bad things were getting, and thought that, well, nothing bad will happen to me. Until one day after my son came home from school sobbing, I was suddenly jolted into a cold, hard reality. Now, let me quickly explain how my son's crying ties into this weight loss discovery, because I do think it's important that you have a little background here. At the time this happened, my son David was 12 years old. Up until then, he'd always been pretty skinny, but from the time of 11 on, he'd begun to carry more and more weight. In hindsight, this sounds bad, but my son's weight gain had never really concerned me. I told him to just embrace it, and that all of the men in our family were big guys. Hell, I said, maybe you'll make a great football player. And for a time, everything was fine. But as the years passed on and my son continued to put on weight, the kids at his school began to tease him relentlessly. They called him fat and a pig and made jokes about him being a jelly blob. And the breaking point came when one day some of the kids decided to put a sign on Paul's back that read, "Caution, wide load." For the entire day, my son walked around school with that humiliating piece of paper tied to him. Everyone was laughing at him, pointing at him, teasing him, and he didn't know why. It makes my blood boil to think about it, but even his own damn teachers were in on the joke. Not a single kid or adult in the entire school told him about that sign. And the only reason he even found out was because the tape finally lost its stickiness and fell down at his feet while he was waiting for the bus. Well, like any parent, when I saw my son sobbing that evening and heard what had happened, I was pissed. And I mean, I was red hot, man. I just couldn't believe how cruel children were, and even adults could be. But the more I thought about what had happened and the more I went through what had happened in my head, the more I realized that there was actually someone else who needed to be held accountable for what had happened. Me. I was the man my son looked up to more than anyone else in the world. I was the one who told him that being big was okay, or even kind of cool. And I was the one setting up a horrible example for him. It hit me hard. I felt such a tremendous wave of guilt flooding my body. It's hard to even describe. In that moment, I made a vow to myself that I would stop ignoring my bulging stomach, my heavy breathing every time I walked across the parking lot, my awful cholesterol levels, and that I would get myself in the best shape of my life so that I could be an inspiration and a role model for my son to do the same thing. So the very next day, I visited the doctor's office for a physical and to talk with him about my weight loss goals. Well, boy, was I in for a rude surprise. After running some blood panels to measure my major health markers, my doctor told me that my cholesterol was at a whopping 450, that I was pre-diabetic, and that based on my risk profile, I was considered highly likely to have a severe heart attack within a matter of 18 months max, but that it could be much sooner. I was floored. I simply hadn't realized things were nearly that bad. Over time, my poor eating choices and my lack of exercise had been adding up, without me even knowing it. And suddenly, my doctor was giving me an 18-month time frame between my current poor health and a potentially life-ending heart attack. Well, of course, I asked my doctor what I needed to do in order to turn things around. And just like you'd expect, he said start doing cardio exercise every day, to watch my calories, and to cut out virtually every food and drink that I liked from my diet. So the very next day, I went out and joined my local 24-hour fitness and hit the treadmill. I also brought a healthy diet book at Barnes & Noble, which was written by one of the nation's best-selling diet authors. And I committed myself to turning my health around, both for myself and because of my son. Well, first of all, let me say this. The gym sucked. I was pretty damn out of shape, and going even 40 minutes on the treadmill left me exhausted. Plus, I hated the way all of the younger kids who were wearing their muscle shirts, along with all of the attractive and toned women out there, stared at me like, what the hell was this guy even doing? I don't know about you, but the gym seemed awfully judgy to me. And as I panted on the treadmill and stair-stepper, my fat jiggling around, the sweat stains growing on my shirt, it was just humiliating. Plus, the healthy eating plan I purchased turned out to be just as awful as the gym, though in a different way. The author claimed on the back of the book that I wouldn't need to diet or count calories. But then, right inside, in the first chapter, there she was talking about needing to reduce the amount of foods I ate by 30%, that I could never touch red meat, that bread was bad for me, that soda was out of the question, and that I'd basically need to become a lettuce-eating rabbit if I wanted to really lose my extra pounds. So long story short, I was totally miserable for that first month. And between 5 gym sessions a week and a starvation diet that was making me exhausted, I managed to lose a whopping 7 pounds. Now I know that's something, but to go from 300 pounds to 293 pounds, I mean big whoop. Losing 7 pounds wasn't going to take my cholesterol down 300 points, or reverse my onset diabetes, or even just make me physically more attractive. I wanted real weight loss, and I wanted to do it without being miserable, which is why when my total weight loss plateaued at 10 pounds after 2 months of starvation and exercise, I said screw it to the gym and my rabbit plan and began researching every single alternative weight loss option in existence. At the beginning, it was really tough going. What I found is even though there are literally tens of thousands of diet books and guides out there, and millions of Google search results for how to lose weight, they're all basically just saying the same thing. Eat less calories, keep yourself healthy, don't eat any foods you like, work out 5 times a week. That's what I'd been doing already. And not just was it making me miserable and physically exhausted, losing 10 pounds when I needed to lose 140 wasn't going to cut it. So I started digging deeper and looking past the pre-packaged and completely ineffective diets, plans, and guides that were out there. I decided to become a detective and investigate what the biggest breakthroughs in fat loss currently were, what the latest scientific research was saying about weight loss, and leaving no stone unturned until I had something that could really help me. In the following 2 months, I must have spent at least 200 hours on the internet. I must have read 1,000 articles, and I know for certain I wrote at least 150 pages of notes. But despite all of that, I still wasn't finding anything groundbreaking, anything that went beyond the simple explanations of how fat gain works and how fat loss is supposed to work. More than one time I thought about giving up, but each time I was about to quit. I remembered how awful it had been to see my son cry and what a terrible role model I'd been. And I thought about what my own doctor had said to me, that I was flirting with death, possibly months away from a life-ending heart attack and simply running out of time. And with all of this pouring through my head, it quickly became clear to me that giving up or failing simply wasn't an option. So I doubled down, became obsessive in my research, and on January 14th, 2014, I finally found what appeared to be the answer I'd been looking for. The answer came in the form of a just-published Harvard study I'd uncovered. In it, scientists claimed to have discovered a new type of fat inside the human body. They call them dark fat cells. And from the very start of the study, I was floored. The therapeutic potential of dark fat cells is clear, the senior author of the report said. These cells have strong anti-obesity and anti-diabetic actions. It's exciting to find a natural substance that has such clear therapeutic potential, especially one that has such powerful effects on fatty tissues. This breakthrough could be the first step towards a weight loss solution that replaces the treadmill. It made my heart race and my head spin. Not only were these dark fat cells something I've never heard of before, but according to some of the most prestigious scientists in the world, by simply activating them in the human body, you could reduce your weight dramatically. No longer need to exercise at all, while significantly reducing your chances of diabetes. But what exactly are these dark fat cells and why did they hold the key to rapid weight loss? Well, up until recently, the scientific community always thought that our fat cells were just white. You probably did too, right? I mean, if I were to ask you to picture a bunch of blubber, you would think a gross blob of white fat, right? Well, that's what medical and health experts have always seen as well. And I don't need to tell you that your white fat cells are not a good thing. Your body stores your white fat in your gut, your love handles, your chest, and all the other painfully noticeable places in your body. And this is both what causes us to put on weight and what makes it so hard to lose that weight even when we exercise or diet. But what the scientists discovered is that your dark fat cells are actually secretly buried inside of your white fat cells. In other words, these dark fat cells are like little sticks of dynamite. And the really incredible part is that when they are activated in the body, your dark fat cells cause a massive fat explosion, erupting with such force they literally dissolve all of the unhealthy white fat your body has been storing for years, and allowing your body to rapidly lose dozens, even hundreds of pounds, all without going on a diet and even without stepping foot in the gym. Now, when it comes to activating the explosive power of the dark fat cells that are inside your body, all you need to do is lower your body temperature. It's that simple. And the reason why is that your dark fat cells are cold activated, which means that by dropping your body temperature even half a degree, you can set off a massive fat-destroying chain reaction. It's an amazing discovery, right? It all sounds so simple, and yet it has been scientifically proven to let you lose 15, 20, even 25 pounds per month without setting foot in a gym, or having to eliminate a single one of your favorite foods from your diet. And so, as I read through this Harvard research, I felt hopeful about my weight for the first time in years, like I'd finally found the answer I was looking for. Except there was one complication. Even though the Harvard research made it clear that dark fat cells were the key to weight loss, that they could be activated inside of us, and that they would literally dissolve all of the white, clingy fat from our bodies, what they didn't say was how to safely and efficiently lower our body temperatures so that the dark fat cells could be activated, which meant if I really wanted to permanently solve my weight problem, it was something I'd have to figure out on my own. So in order to cold activate my dark fat cells, I first started looking at the very literal things, like taking an ice bath, stripping out of my clothes and sitting in my backyard while it snowed, turning the thermometer stat down to 60. But not only did these options sound miserable, they also sounded like a great way to get pneumonia. So next I started looking at different types of food. And that's when I finally had my eureka moment. You see, what I uncovered through my research is that there are actually dozens of foods out there that will lower your body temperature when you eat them. Juicy watermelons, mint leaves, coconuts, even milk. Which meant that if I were able to add them to my diet in the right combination, I should be able to naturally and safely lower my body temperature just enough to activate the dark fat cells that were already inside me, and literally dissolve away my pounds of fatty blubber as I did it. So the very next day I got to work, I took the list of cold foods that I'd uncovered, started adding them into my diet in different combinations, and waited to see what happened. The results were almost instantaneous. In the first 7 days on my new cold eating plan, I dropped 8 pounds. Within 14 days, that number was 15 pounds. And by day 30 following my eating for cold plan, the dark fat cells in my body were in total overdrive, and I'd lost a staggering 25 pounds. Now, you might be wondering if I felt physically cold as I followed my eating plan. And the answer is that nope, I didn't at all. When you think about why, it will make sense. It's not like I was lowering my body temperature by several degrees. Instead, just about a half a degree was all it took to activate my dark fat cells. So in other words, if I normally ran at 98.8 degrees, I now ran at 98.3 degrees. That's way too small of a difference for you to notice at all. Just like if someone changed the thermometer in your house from 72.8 degrees to 78.3 degrees, you'd never even know it. And yet, despite this microscopic change in body temperature, those results I was getting were pretty darn incredible. 25 pounds of fat gone in my first 30 days. And the coolest part was that I hadn't been exercising or even following a restrictive diet at all. You see, what I found was that it didn't even matter what stuff I ate in combination with my low temperature foods, because once I was activating the dark fat that was already inside my body, it acted like a fat burning machine, something that melted and dissolved every ounce of flab inside of me, no matter how stubborn it had clung to my body in the past. So even if I wanted to throw in a Baconator burger from Wendy's or a creamy pasta Alfredo dish from Olive Garden, it didn't matter. My dark fat simply destroyed the unhealthy fat content of what I was eating before it could be stored in my stomach, leaving me feeling great and looking slimmer than I had in a decade. My son took notice too, especially when after 2 months following my simple cold eating plan, I was a full 70 pounds lighter. He said he really liked the new me and that he wanted to use the plan to lose weight too. Well, of course, I happily showed it to him. In the first 30 days, he went from 210 pounds to 192 pounds. The smile on his face was priceless. He started walking around with more confidence than I'd ever seen him have at any other time in his life. Suddenly, the kids at school weren't making fun of him anymore, and the girls in his class were starting to pay a ton of attention to him. And I have to admit, he wasn't the only one receiving an increased amount of attention from the opposite sex. As my weight dropped from 200 pounds after my 3rd month using this cold eating plan I'd created, which was 100 pounds difference from the 300 pounds I'd started at, my wife began giving me those bedroom eyes I hadn't seen in years. She just couldn't get enough of her new man, and because I'd had so much more energy, could breathe so much more easily, and was so much stronger and more agile than I'd been in at least a decade, making love to her became a lot of fun, as well as something we started doing nearly every night. Then, of course, there was my poor doctor. I say poor because when I came in for my follow-up appointment in June weighing a perfectly healthy 189 pounds and saw from my blood test results that my cholesterol was down from 450 to 150, that all signs of my early onset diabetes were completely gone, and that my heart was as healthy as a kid in his mid-20s, he was flabbergasted. He begged to know my secret and was amazed when he learned about the dark fat activating plan I'd created. Soon my doctor was sharing the same old cold eating plan I'd created with his patients. And across the board, we were seeing people drop 10, 20, 30 pounds in their first month. My doctor had never seen anything like it before, and he began ceaselessly pestering me to make this one-of-a-kind fat-destroying method available to the public. So I sat down and typed up everything into an easy-to-follow guide, listed out all of the cold foods I discovered, and explicit directions for how to combine them so that your body temperature lowers enough to activate your dark fat cells, but does so without making you actually feel cold or be at all unhealthy, and published it directly to this website. I'm calling this guide the Pound Melter System. And inside, you'll be given explicit step-by-step directions for how to destroy the white fat cells that have been clinging to your stomach, legs, arms, and chest for years. You'll see how to activate your dark fat cells, which are actually two of the most powerful weight loss weapons in existence. Remember, all it takes to replace your obesity-causing white fat with weight-destroying brown fat is the strategic lowering of your internal body temperature, which is why inside Pound Melter you'll see exactly how to eat for cold, so that your body has no choice but to destroy those white fat cells inside of you. Plus, because the foods you'll be given inside of this guide are so powerful, you can eat them in combination with any other foods you like. Chocolate chip pancakes, crispy Chick-fil-A sandwiches, it doesn't matter. You also won't ever need to touch the gym again. I mean, even the Harvard scientists who discovered this fat-burning method say it can replace the treadmill. That's insane. When do you ever hear scientists or health experts saying that we don't need to exercise to be healthy? Probably never, which is just further proof that this white fat destroying method is so insanely effective. Simply follow the easy steps inside Pound Melter, and you'll turn your body into a finely tuned fat-burning machine. You'll also be shown how to maintain this state of perfect balance forever, so that by simply keeping 1 or 2 foods in your diet each month, things you only have to eat twice max every 30 days, you'll never again allow deadly white fat to form in your body. And because white fat is the #1 place in your body where cancer-causing toxins and age-causing free radicals like to gather, once you flush those cells out of your system, using the simple step-by-step method you're shown inside, you will quickly and dramatically reduce your risk of being diagnosed with dozens of major diseases, while even reversing the severe health issues you already have, including heart conditions, high cholesterol, and even diabetes. Everything is laid out for you in a simple format that a third grader could understand in one read. The cold eating foods you're given cost maybe $15 total at the grocery store, and there are 0 supplements, diet pills, workout routines, or food restrictions whatsoever. As I mentioned previously, 88,616 people across the country have already used Pound Melter to lose 10, 20, even 30 pounds in their very first month. People like Arnold Tunt of Chandler, Arizona, who lost 24 pounds in his first month using Pound Melter, and Roger Sandberg of Colorado Springs, Colorado, who lost 12 pounds in his first 14 days. Or Lana Stubeck of Wichita, Kansas, who went from 240 pounds to 180 pounds in 2 short months. Or even James Elder of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, who writes, "When I first heard about Pound Melter, I was a little unsure. There are so many products out there promising to help you lose weight, and I think I've become fairly jaded about the whole thing. What made me decide Pound Melter was the fact that it was based off of a real Harvard study, and that it really did have a documented success rate. I'm extremely glad I made that decision. My waist size has already dropped from a 42 to a 36, and it's only been 45 days. Attached is a before and after for you to see just how amazing my results have been. Those are just a small handful of the hundreds of incredible before and after pictures I get sent each day. And given this program's incredible track record of success, it should be pretty safe to say that there's absolutely nothing else like Pound Melter in existence. By simply following the easy steps you find inside and eating the right foods in the explicit way you're shown inside, both you and any loved one you share this with will experience an incredible transformation of both your body and your physical well-being, and you'll sleep more soundly at night knowing that you will be living in perfect health for decades to come. The incredible health secrets you discover in Pound Melter not only will make you dramatically younger, toner, and more in shape now, they can reverse your most crippling chronic conditions and diseases, even ones as serious as diabetes or heart diseases, starting as soon as today. From the very first moment you get inside Pound Melter, you will never again need to worry about your poor health making you a prisoner in your own body. You'll be able to enjoy all life's best moments with a smile on your face and with an incredible amount of youthful energy. No matter whether it's birthdays or anniversaries, graduations or family reunions, You'll be there with and for the people you hold dear. Go ahead and take a second to think about all the products and solutions you've already seen on the market for weight loss. Chemical-filled supplements, dangerous caffeine pills, bland-tasting microwavable dinners, a monthly membership to a gym you hate going to anyways. If you're just like me, you've already tried dozens of these solutions in the past. Yet all you've experienced so far is an empty wallet and a big sense of disappointment at your failure to get results. With Pound Melter, that failure stops today. You'll never go to bed hungry again. You'll never worry about relapsing off of your diet when someone eats a greasy, cheesy pizza in front of you. You'll be able to enjoy the rich, creamy, delicious foods you love without counting a single calorie as long as you live. And you'll be able to eat until your heart's content while still waking up skinnier each morning than you were the day before. It sounds unreal, but that's exactly what Pound Melter allows you to do. Simply start using the powerful and life-changing information that I'm about to hand over to you. And you'll never again have to pay $300 a week for bad-tasting, tiny proportion prepackaged meals like Nutrisystems, or pay $50 per bottle of diet pills that make you feel like you're on speed, or $50 per month for a membership to a crowded gym, one where you don't even know the first place to start, and where they are constantly trying to convince you to hand over even more money for a barely qualified personal trainer. All of those things can add up to thousands of dollars each year, and that's not even mentioning what will happen if you don't make a real meaningful change today. Because the stark reality is that if your body continues to break down, it will not only make you look years older than you really are, but also dramatically increase your risk of being diagnosed with a terrifying, even deadly disease. So given that Pound Melter is the only real alternative in existence, let me go ahead and tell you how you can start using it right now. You see, when I was originally putting Pound Melter up on this website, my doctor told me that he thought I should set the retail price to around $279. And given the countless time, effort, and money I put into creating the system, I do think $279 is completely reasonable. I mean, even at $279, this permanent weight loss solution is already cheaper than what you'd pay for a few months at the gym, or even 4 weeks of personal trainer sessions. And it's way less than what you'd pay for a year's worth of doctor visits, especially if, God forbid, your health doesn't improve and you are diagnosed with a serious illness like diabetes or heart disease. Even if I lowered the price of Pound Melter down to $179 or even $79, it would be an absolute bargain, especially given how powerful and life-changing the results you experience will be. But because I am absolutely obsessed with making sure that Pound Melter gets into your hands today, and because I know just how dramatic of a transformation you're going to experience, and how good it feels to not need to worry about a life-ending heart attack or stroke, and to be able to go through the menu at your favorite restaurant and order whatever the heck you want, I'm not going to ask you to pay anywhere near around the normal $279 retail price for Pound Melter, or even $179, or even $79. Instead, if you act right now, and only while this offer is still online, you can get the entire program, the Eating for Cold plan, the list of foods, the weight maintenance guide, the cholesterol-lowering techniques, and everything else for just $39. To get started, simply click the button you see below this screen right now. The minute you do so, you'll be given instant access to the entire program right on your computer, smartphone, and tablet, and you can also download or print out as many copies as you want. Your new body and a clean bill of health are just seconds away. But if you're truly serious about taking back control of your weight while fighting off the ravaging effects of old aging, you really do need to act now. The secrets you're about to be given are things that major weight loss companies and the $17 billion diet industry are desperate to keep hidden from you. And just sharing them with you on this website puts me and my family at risk. Every day I'm threatened with legal action from some of the largest nutrition conglomerates in the world, and they swear that they will ruin me if this video doesn't get taken down. I'm fighting them as best as I can, but I can't swear I'll be able to hold them off forever, which means if you're going to do the right thing, reclaim the driver's seat in your life and ensure that you'll be there for your spouse, children, grandchildren, and dearest friends for the next 3, 4, 5, even 6 decades, you must click the button you see below this video right now. Oh, this next part is also pretty important for me to mention, which is that your investment today is going to be covered by a 100% 60-day money-back, no questions asked guarantee. Here's how that works. You simply say maybe to Pound Melter right now by clicking the yellow button you see right below this video. Then you start following the Eating for Cold plan. You add those few foods into your diet. You lower your cholesterol, and you see how to maintain your ideal body weight once you reach it. Be amazed at the amount of weight you lose in your very first month, and smile to yourself as you get out of bed each morning because you've slept so soundly, woke up so rested, and are filled with energy. That's exactly what already happened for more than 88,000 other individuals, and I'm positive it will happen for you too. But if for any reason you change your mind about this program, or even if you only lose 14 pounds in your first month and you wanted to lose 25 pounds, you have a full 60 days to get a refund. Just send an email to the personal address I'll give you inside Pound Melter, and I will instantly refund your entire investment with 0 questions asked. There is absolutely no risk. Think about it. In just 30 seconds from now, you can already be well on your way to a new body. You'll do it without stepping foot in the gym or even cutting out the foods you love. Pound Melter is completely safe, completely natural, and it works. From destroying your risk of heart disease, diabetes, and literally dozens of other illnesses, to turning heads everywhere you step foot, at the office, at home, while you're shopping for groceries. Everything you need to literally save your life is just one click away. This presentation is about to finish, and ultimately the choice is yours. You could just close this page and let this opportunity slip through your fingers. That's your choice, of course, and I certainly can't stop you. But 3 months from now, when you're looking in the mirror and still aren't happy with the reflection that's staring back at you, or staring at the timer on the treadmill, watching the minutes tick by like molasses, aren't you going to feel at least a tiny tinge of regret that you didn't try Pound Melter today? Especially when it only cost you about half the cost of one personal training session, has been proven by Harvard scientists to work, and is covered by a 60-day, 100% risk-free, money-back guarantee. So, go ahead and make the only real choice you have in front of you right now. Click the yellow button you see below. Try out Pound Melter with absolutely 0 risk at all, and start loving the reflection you see in the mirror each morning. Still here? No worries, I understand. You probably have some questions about the scientific breakthrough you were just shown. To help you out, let me go ahead and answer some of the more common questions I get regarding Pound Melter right now. 1. What exactly are these dark fat cells you keep hearing about? Up until recently, scientists always thought that our fat cells were just white. But what was discovered in the Harvard study I told you about inside this presentation is that there is actually a second type of fat that is buried inside your white fat cells. They call it dark fat. And these dark fat cells are like little sticks of dynamite that, when activated, can explode all of the blubber that's sticking to your body, literally dissolving it, and leading to rapid weight loss. 2. How do you activate dark fat cells again? Your dark fat cells are cold activated. What that means is that when your body temperature drops even by half a degree, they suddenly burst into action. That's why inside Pound Melter you're shown how to do just that. You'll discover how to eat for cold so that you can safely lower your body temperature by just a tiny amount, but still activate those weight-destroying dark fat cells. 3. But if I'm lowering my body temperature, won't I be cold all the time? Not at all. The truth of the matter is your body temperature already naturally fluctuates all the time. If you take your temperature in the morning, it may be 98.3, and in the evening it might be 99. A small fluctuation like this is completely normal and healthy, and you don't even notice any difference. It's the same thing with Pound Melter. You're not going to notice a difference between a body temperature of 98.8 and 98.3. It's just too small of a change. Or, to think of it another way, if the temperature in your house goes from 72.8 degrees to 72.3 degrees, are you going to start suddenly shivering? Of course not. You wouldn't even realize it happened. 4. Okay, so what exactly do I get inside Pound Melter? Inside Pound Melter, you'll be given explicit, step-by-step directions for how to destroy the white fat cells that have been clinging to your stomach, legs, arms, and chest for years. You'll see how to activate your dark fat cells, which are actually 2 of the most powerful weight loss weapons in existence. You'll be shown exactly how to eat for cold, so that your body has no choice but to destroy those white fat cells inside of you. You'll also be shown how to maintain this rate of perfect balance forever, so that by simply keeping 1 or 2 foods in your diet each month, things you only have to eat twice max every 30 days, you never again allow deadly white fat to form in your body. Everything is laid out for you in a simple format that even a young child can understand, and the cold eating foods you need cost about $15 at the grocery store. 5. What are the terms of that guarantee again? Pretty simple. You have a full 60 days to try out Pound Melter for yourself. It's guaranteed that you're going to lose a lot of weight and feel better than you have in years. But if for any reason you're not happy with your decision today, you're still covered by an 100% no strings attached refund. Simply send an email to the address I give you inside of Pound Melter, and I will instantly refund your purchase with 0 questions asked. Number 6. Okay, let's rock. How do I get inside? To get started, just click the yellow button you see right below this video. That button takes you to my secure checkout page, where you'll enter your order details. As soon as you're finished, you'll be given instant access to the entire Pound Melter program through a special members-only area I've set up. You'll be able to view all of the materials right from your computer, your tablet, or even your smartphone. You'll also be able to download them or print out extra copies to give to your family.